Matthew Boling is certainly the talk of the track and field world right now, and he has arguably been the biggest talking point of the sprinting world since 2019, when he emerged as the new all-conditions high school record holder running 9.98 seconds. Though this time was assisted by an illegal wind speed, he has backed that run with some awesome performances. And even up to 2021 on the collegiate scene, he has remained the center of attention, being one of the fastest men in the 200 meters and the 400 meters so far. However, while he has garnered a lot of attention, there are some other great talents who have caught the eyes of fans with some super performances. This is why today, we will be looking at 5 of those other super talented youngster, who for the most part people would love to see go head to head with Matthew Boling. It's unbelievable to think that in 2019, most people had no idea who Justin Robinson was. Some might have recognized him as a partner of Boling on the USA 4x4 team at the World Junior Champs and the Under-20 Pan Am Champs. This young man was an absolute beast in 2019, setting a new age group world record for 17-year-olds in the 400 meters with a 44.84 clocking. On top of that, he had a split of 43.83 seconds on the 4x4 Under-20 world record team. Even though it is uncertain Boling will compete in the 400 meters in the future, this race would be truly competitive. Boling has ran 45.5 indoors this year, exactly a second faster than Robinson has ever gone in similar conditions. This time would somehow indicate a sub-45 outdoors for Boling, matching Robinson to go under the barrier. These two are very strong runners for their age, having some of the strongest finishes we've seen from teens in a while. So while Boling eyes may not be set on the quarter mile, this race would certainly still be one to keep an eye out for. A year before Boling became mainstream, Zohri shocked the entire world when he defeated the world youth record holder to be crowned the world junior champion. Since then, the young Indonesian has not let up on the track, facing top sprinters and going as fast 10.03 seconds at just 18 years old. This time made him the 4th fastest junior ever over the distance. That same year, Boling ran 10.11 seconds, the fastest high school time of the year. It is interesting to note he defeated Seville, one of Jamaica's fastest high school athletes en route to his time. This meeting is one that seems likely on a global stage, given the progression of both sprinters. They both have eyes on the big stage and seem to be a notch better than their peers. So it is certain, if we see these two compete, it will be a classic. In 2019, if you had asked who would win a race between Ross and Boling, it would have been an easy answer, given that Ross was nowhere near as impressive as he is today. As a 17-year-old, Ross had PBs of 10.79 and 21.3 in the 100 and 200 meters. However, now, he is the second fastest man in the world over 400 meters after clocking 45.21 seconds at the Tiger Paw Invitational. His time is ahead Boling's 45.5, and even in the 200 meters, he has a better time so far, running 20.50, outdoing Boling's 20.53. This race is one we will see, and one fans are really looking forward to, since both men are the brightest prospects on the collegiate circuit so far. So come this NCAA Indoor Championships, we could be seeing these two going head to face each other. Taylor had long made his name as a phenomenal young sprinter when Boling came onto the scene. He had won a world youth title in the 400 meters and even set a new age group world best that same year. In fact, when Boling rose to prominence, Taylor was having one of his worst years in high school, struggling with injuries. However, in 2021 they are both fit, with Taylor taking the best of the pro world. Meanwhile, Boling is proving himself against the best collegiate sprinters in the country. A meeting between Christopher Taylor and Matthew Boling is one that seems very likely in the 200 meters. Both have nearly identical personal bests in the event, and it is arguably their strongest event. This matchup is seen as the continuation of the long USA vs Jamaica rivalry on the track, and given that both these young stars are two of the most talented sprinters to emerge from their respective nations, you can bet that whenever they meet, it will create waves of discussion. Damble has been one of the fastest juniors on the planet for the last couple of years, however for some reason he hasn't got the spotlight he deserves. At 17-year-old he was the fastest youth in the world and second fastest for juniors, only behind Matthew Boling. His time was 20.43 seconds, which topped the likes of older guys at that level. The likes of Antonio Watson, Seville, Jake Doran, and other top-class juniors. In 2020 he did the unthinkable at the Kipkeino Classic when he, the youngest of the field, defeated a field that included Arthur Cisa by a reasonable gap, winning in 20.44 to Arthur's 20.53. Keep in mind that he defeated him in the 200 meters event just 2 weeks after Cisa had won a stellar field at the Diamond League meet in Stockholm. It is this performance in particular that opened the eyes of the South African track world as to the potential that the 18-year-old has. With his talent he could be hailed as the new Wade, and it's for this reason that I believe that a race between him and Matthew in the future would be something that could lead to a super fast time. So from this we've just took a look at 5 very talented youngsters who could face arguably the biggest prospect in sprinting today. However, given the nature of the sport, we are bound to see some more stars emerging. However, even when they do, these matchups will still be some of the most scintillating action we witness on the track.